7 o'clock, Your Worship.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome. I call this regular council meeting, January the 16th, 2023, 7 p.m. to order, and to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Chehalis. Next order of business, please.
Yes, we'll move on to number 2, introduction of late items. Do you have any late items?
I do. I would request an amendment to the agenda to move to a closed meeting of council after question period. Next order of business. Is that better? Marginal? Can you hear me better now? Still not loud enough? I'll even move it closer. Is that better? There we go. Thank you. So I'll start over then. Good evening and welcome. So I call this regular council meeting of January the 16th, 2023, 7 p.m. to order, and to acknowledge that we are on the territory of the Chehalis. The next order of business, please.
Yes, Your Worship. We're moving on to number 2, introduction of late items. Do you have any late items?
Yes, thank you. I do. So I would request an amendment to the agenda to move to a closed meeting of council after our question period. Next order of business, please.
Then I would require approval of the agenda as amended then, please.
Do I have a mover for the agenda as amended?
Councillor Buckley.
Moved by Councillor Buckley, seconded by Mayor Wood. Call the question. All in favor? Councillor Buckley, Mayor Wood, motion fails, defeated by opposed Councillor Facio, Councillor Vidal, opposed, and Councillor Jackson. Next order of business, please.
Yes, Your Worship. The motion fails. I would still require a motion of council to approve the agenda.
Moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Call the question. All in favor? Passes with the mayor opposed. Next order of business, please.
Yes, we'll move on to adoption of council minutes. We have the regular council meeting minutes of December 5th, 2022 here for adoption.
Do we have a move by Councillor Vidal? Sorry, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Errors or omissions? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Nobody opposed. Thank you. Next adoption of council minutes, is it?
Yes, certainly. We'll move on. We have the committee of the whole minutes of January 11, 2023 here for adoption.
I have a mover, moved by Councillor Jackson, seconded by Councillor Vidal. Errors or omissions?
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Buckley.
Thank you. Just a small item on page 4, in the middle of the page, under coach houses, section H. It is said that I shared the City of Kelowna's guide to residential suite. It's actually Kamloops. Not that it makes a difference that much, but if we were able to look it up or something, it's under Kamloops.
Thank you, Councillor Buckley.
You're welcome.
So call the question. All in favor? Passes. Nobody opposed. Thank you. Next order of business, please.
Yes, thank you. We'll move on to number 5. Is there any business arising from the minutes?
Seeing none, we'll move on. Next order of business, please.
Thank you. We'll go right through number 6 and number 7 as there's no items on those topics this evening. We'll move on to correspondence. We have a letter dated December 20, 2022 from the District of Kent requesting support for the Lettsmont Regional Aquatic Center here for receipt.
Moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor, I'm going to say Councillor Buckley. Discussion. No discussion on the, sorry, it's just removed. It's just. Yep. Sorry, Councillor Facio. It's just receipt. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Call the question. All in favor? Receipt. Passes unanimously. Next order of business.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. We'll move on to number 9. Is there any business arising from the correspondence?
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor
Oh,
Vidal.
sorry, carry on.
Yes, Councillor Vidal, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It appears that District of Kent at this time is not looking for any financial commitment, but they are requesting. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, thank you. It doesn't appear at this time District of Kent is requesting any financial support, but indicated in their letter that they are hoping for more letters of support from our communities to be forwarded to the ministers Hadju and LeBlanc prior to any members of our C2C arranging for a delegation meeting to Ottawa to meet with any ministers. With that, I would like to make a motion that council send letters of support to Minister Hadju and Minister LeBlanc in support of funding for the Regional Aquatic Center. Thank you.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Facio. Discussion. Any discussion on the letters? I actually have some concerns. Some concerns I'd like to talk about. So this is a very, very ambitious pool, and I think it's a beautiful project for the District of Kent. Again, I say it's ambitious. Reason I say it's ambitious is because of the cost is now increased over $21 million. And in the correspondence that we've received here, there is a section on page 2 of it, and it's they are requesting, not requesting, it's to be determined in the future, and that's funding. So they've got the all of our neighboring Indigenous groups, including the village of Hot Springs. So I believe that they are anticipating some funds for this project. How much, I have no idea what they're looking for, but they, I believe, are somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 or $6 million short. Another part of the project is, once the project is complete, then we've got an operating and a maintenance cost and recapitalization cost. Again, for an ambitious project like this, there's a lot of money involved in that. Can the village of Harrison Hot Springs assist in a project like this financially? I think that's an important question that council and we need to have some discussion on if that is a desire of this council. There's a C2C community group meeting next week, and all the parties will be there. And that is on the, I believe, on the agenda for discussion. So do we have any discussion or any comments from any of the Councillor Facio?
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, like all these facilities that if they get built, they'll always have the running costs and I noticed going to the big one in Chilliwack the weekend now, how you can skate for an hour for a toonie, but they make it work there. But I think the idea is that at some point, if they seek the funding that they're requiring, that I think we should be open at some point, I'm speaking for myself at the moment, that we should be at some point ready to have a discussion on if we're going to help in the funding towards this, because it will benefit the residents of Harrison Hot Springs, such as the leisure center does now for many Harrison people that use it. I know Councillor Buckley uses it, and many others. But I think it's something that's worth to be discussed. They are our neighbors and they're looking for help. Whether we can, how we can help, it will depend on what is needed out of all the parties to raise if they get the extra money that they're asking for. So I would support that when you go to the meeting that I'm putting this out to council. I hope the council would support the discussion on this regarding funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Facio. Further discussion? Councillor Buckley?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I echo what Councillor Fascio has just said as well. I know there are a considerable amount of Harrison residents that do use the facilities of their current fitness center, and I know they would be welcoming the new pool for sure. So I think it would behoove us to have a good conversation about this, and we might even want to just draft up a quick letter sometime in the near future and maybe address it to mayor and council and just see if they did have some sort of idea of what they were looking for as part of funding. But we could certainly have the conversation as per Councillor Fascio, and I'd be all for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Buckley. Councillor Vidal?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe last term, Mayor and Council of District did attend as a delegation here outlining the project. I am all for entering into a discussion. The letter does indicate, and when they presented to council, that they were considering sending a delegation to Ottawa to meet directly with the federal ministers involved. So I'm hesitant at this point to offer any financial amount until we do find out, District of Kent does find out exactly how much funding they have secured. I am in full support of the project in the same way that Councillor Buckley and Councillor Fascio have expressed. I agree with you that it is on our Let's C2C meeting agenda next week, and I do look forward to some discussion. I believe we'll probably be able to get an update exactly where District of Kent is in their project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vidal. Councillor Jackson?
Thank you, Your Worship. Remember back in 2006, 2007, when we were looking at our new wastewater plant. And we were looking at teaming up with Agassiz at that particular time. At the beginning of the conversation, it sounded like it'd be a very practical thing to do. At the end of the day, it sort of worked out that we would cover all their costs if we took our wastewater to Agassiz. I'm not too sure I want to get involved in another community's plans. I think it's up to them. And sometime down the line, we can budget some money to help in the capital cost. That's one thing I'm prepared to look at. But I think you have to be very careful when you start entering on to another community. Where does it end or where does it stop? So my own personal opinion is we can come up with some money to help them down in the future. We will do that, in my opinion. So I'll leave it up to you, your worship, to figure out what you want.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. So I just want to add to that. I mean, I'm fully in support of a letter or letters of support, but I think it's important that the District of Kent knows that that's not conditional on the village here putting funds towards the project. It's just to support the need for a community-based pool. But I'm afraid of the amount of monies that as Councillor Jackson was alluding to, that we could get ourselves involved with. When we agree to putting letters of support out for certain projects, that can actually also hold us somewhat responsible for then the operating cost. I mean, the pool could have an operating cost of easily over 500,000 a year. And that's a significant amount of money. I mean, I believe that the District of Kent is for every $75,000 is a 1% tax increase. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 15% for every 1% tax increase for us. So they're already over $5 million short, and I believe that there's going to be a quite a substantial, again, operating and maintenance cost. So I'm really concerned with us getting into a financial, any future financial obligations. So if we can agree that the letters are just to support the application, but also make the District of Kent know that at this time that there is no financial commitment to that. Is that in agreement, Councillor Councillor Vidal?
Mr. Mayor, if you would like to make an amendment to that motion, I'll entertain it. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to ask for a friendly amendment to that.
All right, I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Sorry, Councillor Fast.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I think the overall idea is to support the letter so they can seek the funding. Like I said earlier on, if it comes down to any additional funding from the different parties, that's a different discussion. But I think at this point, it's just a letter they need to send to Ottawa to try and get the funding that they require. And I support the letter of support for the funding, as you've stated.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further discussion? So I'm going to call the question on the motion for the two letters and with reference that that's letters of support, but not for financial support. So I call that question. All in favor? Councillor Jackson, Councillor Vidal, actually all of us. It passes unanimously. Next order of business, please.
Thank you. We'll move on to number 10, reports of councillors, committees, committee of the whole and commissions.
So Councillor Vidal, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On December 7th, I attended the Community Futures Board meeting and staff luncheon that was held in Mission. On December 14th, I attended the annual RCMP Agassiz Detachment open house. And also on December 14th, I attended an online course on responsible conduct every day, which was presented by UBCM, BC Government, and the Local Government Management Association. On January 5th, I attended the Lower Mainland Local Government Association board meeting. And I did want to advise council that the 2023 conference theme is commitment to excellence and innovation in local government. The conference will be held in May here in Harrison at the Hot Springs Resort. And the board is currently in the process of finalizing the program. Early bird registration and the call for resolutions will be out soon, I believe, at the beginning of February. And as indicated, I will work with staff on the wording of a resolution, which will come back to council for approval. On January 6th, I attended the push-in ceremony for our brand new fire apparatus at the hall. It was a really, really good turnout, and I certainly appreciate everybody who attended. And that is my report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Facio.
Mr. Mayor, I also was in attendance at the push shove, whatever you want to call it, our new fire truck. What a great fire truck it is. It was good turnout by the public that evening. I can recall back in '93 when I was first on council, we could afford maybe one hose in them days, and now we've got a $667,000 fire truck, which is great. More protection for our community and for our citizens. So it's I've always been very supportive that our fire department gets good support from the council for most of the asks that they ask. At the Fraser Valley Regional District on January the 12th, there was a presentation by Dirk Lewis from the Morrow Bioscience. This is the guy that you may see up in the air or around the habitat areas during the spraying for the mosquitoes. Apparently it's a corn granular with organic bacteria 1A is what they use to do the spraying. Cores reflect about 90% that they have for the mosquitoes. April to May is the bad time when the water is high. 800 hectares a day they do. Most of this is done by helicopter. And some of the habitat areas that for mosquitoes are spruce, willows, dogwood, alder, rush conifers, sedges, and grasses. These little mice like to hang out. 2022 was a challenging year due to the heavy rains, and I expect this year not to be quite as bad, but we'll wait and see. The 22 ground spraying was 245 hectares, and in total was 2,570 hectares that was sprayed from Prince George down to Alway. So that was a report from them. The regional district is going to be having a training for FOIs. They had some 75 FOI reports in 2022. And I think that's about all from me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Question for you, Counselor Facio.
Sure.
Was ECOM ever, was the discussion of ECOM, did it come up? And can you give us an update?
ECOM, I did give a report before Christmas, before the election. But ECOM, no, hasn't come up. I missed one meeting because we were somewhere else, but no, I can't. It's 2025. It's going to, the new ECOM is going to take its changeover 2025 with the new equipment. So that's for sure off the top of my head, but I'll get some more information. I'll pass it on to you, Mr. Mayor.
Was just to add to that, so that new equipment is supposed to solve the issues that they're having now?
It will also, of course, there'll be a cost. We don't know what the cost is going to be. There's going to be a cost to this, of course, but that's downloaded to the municipalities. We'll have to wait and see on that. But the change, like I said, the changeover will be 2025, and apparently it's going to be a much smoother transition and better for calls for people. So keep your fingers crossed.
I heard that, and that Mission was, so disappointed with the system that they've actually now or have taken control back over and doing it themselves. And interesting, Chilliwack, which has their own system, is looking at going with Ecom.
Yeah, well, the rural district used to have e-com at their facilities in Chilliwack. That was the main center that the regional district offices.
So-
That's been moved now when they signed the new contracts and moved people to a location in Surrey, Vancouver. Is the
No,
actual,
it's in Vancouver, right off of Highway 1 and around the Pender area.
So that's where our Ecom, our 911 comes through.
yeah,
Is it through Chilliwack or is it
no, that comes through through
through Ecom?
Vancouver Ecom, yes.
Okay, thank you, Counselor.
Mayor, perhaps I can offer a little bit of clarification.
Yeah.
The 911 system works it is answered at Ecom. Those agencies that Ecom also provides dispatch services for, it is then dispatched from that facility. However, Ecom does not provide the actual dispatching for all agencies. If it's an agency that does not utilize Ecom for the actual dispatch services, then that is downloaded to another local center, which then takes over from there and dispatches either police or fire from there.
Thank you, Counselor Vidal. Counselor Buckley.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On December the 13th, I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting, Agassiz Harrison. There was an election of officers at that time, and the president was elected was Rob Hole, vice president Gwen Schmidt, treasurer Len Daviduck, and the secretary is Ed Stenson. On January the 10th, I attended another chamber meeting, and at that time, they reported that there is currently 87 members. And Councillor Susan Spady reported for Kent that the new Marlin Trailers is now open in Agassiz. This is the facility that's visible from Highway 7 at the east end of town. It's quite a large construction site. They have a factory there and they build trailers on site. So there is the construction and sales, and various types of trailers are manufactured there. And I also attended the push-in for the fire truck. And I would like to thank Fire Chief Trevor Todd and all his members for just a wonderful job, and a thank you for everything they do for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor Buckley. Counselor Jackson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I've attended all those meetings myself. However, I think what a lot of meetings, but I've been doing is rereading the community charter to bring myself up to date with all the nuances in the charter and going over the OCP to make sure that I understand that everything's in there at this time, and I'll have more report later on in the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Jackson. Next order of business, please.
Yes, Your Worship, we'll move on to number 11, and this is reports from the mayor.
The presentation of the plaques and gift certificates for the winners of the 22 holiday lighting contest. And I was going to ask Counselor Buckley, as he was the one that initiated the project, to distribute them, but I guess you can't do it through the screen.
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'll
wish
do
we
it on
would-
I'll do it on your behalf.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to advise that the gift certificates are available and they are at the village office. So the recipients can surely attend the office to pick that up.
Okay, so I just got this put in front of me now. So this is the residential category from 831 Main Crescent. Are you present in the, yes, once, if we just meet you at the podium. And I think I had a little sticky here that Muddy Waters is gone for vacation.
Correct, your worship. We can certainly ensure that the recipient receives their plaque and their gift certificate.
Didn't quite hear you, sorry.
Sorry, so the winner of the lighting contest, Muddy Waters, they are unavailable this evening. We can certainly ensure that the plaque and the gift certificate are delivered to them when they return.
Great, thank you. So I also was at the new fire truck push in. It was quite a feat to see how many guys it took to push that truck in there. I was surprised to see that they could make it up that even bit of a ramp. And they got it in there. I was actually quite surprised to see that. It was a good crowd. It is a beautiful truck. Nice to see good equipment. The chief was telling me that it's been customized. In the sense it's been made shorter so that it can get into some of our tighter developments in the village here. The chief did a nice speech. He thanked the previous two concessions of councils. And just to show how long it takes to get a fire truck through the system, we can actually say it had to go through 3 sets of councils because I just had the honor the other day of signing the check. So it's quite a process. I also like to thank the Agassiz Fire Chief for his assistance in working with our fire department, our fire chief, and making sure that we get the vehicle that works best for us. The relationship between the Agassiz Fire Department and Harrison is obviously vital. I had an opportunity to meet the Agassiz Fire Chief, and we had a great conversation, and it looks like we've got a really good relationship between the communities, and I look forward to seeing that continue. I also look forward to seeing us one time in the future here as council discusses in the budgets of getting a full-time paid fire chief slash project safety manager on board. Next item I went was at the Kent Harrison Arts Council, their 50th anniversary. I actually got to it was a well-attended event. It was hardly standing room. Had an opportunity. I was there a little early to have a look at some of the arts. So some nice work there, and I had another opportunity again to speak to, I believe, one of the founders there, and learned a little bit about it. I didn't even realize it, but on top of the ranger station, there's actually a suite up there. So every year they put it out for bid to a member in the arts community, and they live free of rent up top of that ranger. It is just a beautiful place. The view is just spectacular place for them to do their work. In lieu of that, they do, I believe it's about 8 hours a week in the for work for the actual arts council and lost my name. Anyhow, and he or she are also there for security and to perform minor maintenance. The next item is attended the Agassiz Harrison Historical Society. That was my first meeting with them. They had in some of their fundraising, one of their best and most successful events that they had was actually at Christmas time here was selling homemade jam. I believe they made somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,000 in homemade jam. And just to add to that, the building itself is an aging train station, which has a number of issues with it, and one right now includes some of their windows. So if there's anybody out there that's interested in helping out, volunteering, I'm sure there could even be some monies involved to help out. for restoration of some of their windows. So we're looking for someone that goes back to the old days where old windows, single glazed windows with putting. If anybody's interested, just get a hold of me and I'd love to talk with them. The last item is I had an opportunity. I was invited to go back to school for a day. Excuse me. To the Agassiz Secondary School. So it was called Capstone Interviews. Well, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea what a capstone interview meant. But what it was 3 students, 2 were from Agassiz, 1 from Harrison here. And they did what was called either a passion project or like digital platforms. So it was on their personal growth. These are grade 12 graduates. So it was on their personal growth and their career and life skills. I had an opportunity to one-on-one with each one of them. Just amazing to see the dedication to their future. One of the students was wanting to become a welder or heavy duty mechanic as he works his way through that project to become again a certified trades mechanic, I should say. And the other one wanted to become a pharmacist and or a psychiatrist. That's a huge goal. And lastly, the last one was just a member of our village here, and hers was a passion project. She actually went to Haiti. So she went to Haiti to help out, obviously, the people of Haiti and the medical side of the systems, until actually it got so dangerous there that they had to cut their training or their volunteer work short and come back home. She also, I believe, did a presentation right here in this hall. The dedication, it was just extremely moving. The parents have got to be proud of all 3. The teachers of the school, kudos to your work. Great kids. I wish them all the best in their future. Next order of business, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. We'll move on to number 12, reports from staff. The first report we have in front of you is upon notification of the fire chief with some staffing changes that have occurred in the fire department. He has recommended that council appoint one of his as captains as deputy fire chief for the village. The recommendation that's before council this evening is that the appointment of Curtis Genest as deputy fire chief be approved.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Discussion? I would just like to say it's Curtis, is it Curtis Genest? Genest. Anybody that works for the fire department has my highest of respect. And to take that responsibility on as the deputy fire chief, I imagine that's a pretty exciting change, and any support that mayor or council can give. Again, I just want to greatly appreciate and thank you to Curtis for taking that responsibility on. So I call the question. All in favor? Yeah, sorry,
Just,
discussion.
I just had as you brought up the Curtis, I had the pleasure when he was a young man of helping to bring him up with his grandmother. He's a fine young man, great basketball player. And besides a deputy, he's also involved in protecting people as well. Yeah, great, a fine young man.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Facio. Further discussion? Yeah. So I'll call the question. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Next item, please.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next report. That's from the Community Services Manager, and this is regarding council meeting locations.
Do I have somebody want to move a recommendation?
Your worship, at this time, if you can, Ms. Shell would present the report for council.
Did she, sorry. Go ahead, Rhonda, please.
Thank you, your worship.
Thank you.
In 2020, due to COVID-19, council meetings were temporarily relocated to Memorial Hall. After public health restrictions were lifted in October 2021, council resolved that council meetings and public hearings remain at Memorial Hall until further decision of council. After a delegation from the Harrison Festival Society regarding the use of Memorial Hall and their programming, council requested that staff bring back a report with some options on the future of council meetings. So some options we've come up with, one was to change the day of the week the council meetings are held, and it would remain at Memorial Hall. This would require an amendment to the council procedure bylaw, including public notice requirements. And a change in day would also have implications on staff scheduling. Another option is to continue to use Memorial Hall, but temporarily relocate back to the village office council chambers for the summer months, as was done last year. This does not have any financial implications, but it also does not include the option to have electronic participation in the meetings. A third option is to relocate back to the village office permanently as the council chambers. This does include financial implications to relocate the audiovisual equipment and purchase new furnishings that would allow for the space to be more multifunctional. Public hearings could remain at Memorial Hall. So this report here, just with options, is here for council's receipt. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Facio?
Yeah, move option 4, Mr. Mayor.
Move. Seconded by Councillor Jackson. For option 4. Discussion for Councillor Vidal.
Thank you,
Councillor
Mr.
Buckner.
Mayor. Through you to Michelle, just a couple of questions. You indicated that a change in day would also have implications on staff scheduling. Does that mean you would have to reallocate staff sort of like on the day before to set up? Is that correct?
There's implications on both the Public Works Department and the Administration Department.
All right, thank you. And through you, Mr. Mayor, to Michelle again. One of the options is returning back to the village office, council chambers there. And you indicate that perhaps we could redo the configuration of the room and eliminate the current board table is there. With, hopefully some additional space there, would that possibly provide for additional gallery seating? We're still pretty cramped in there, and often sometimes during council meetings, we'll have people attending in the gallery or needing to stand outside of council chambers.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
Thank you. It depends. Probably not additional gallery space. We're not adding to the square footage, and the configuration would still take up just as much space, but it would allow more distancing for council and staff, and in a better configuration for the gallery to view council. So it would also create a more opportunity for training or other configurations to be able to move the tables around rather than use the boardroom table that's in there now.
All right. Thank you. And just one other comment. If a decision is made to move back to the village office, council chambers, I do think that continuing on with the annual software cost for Zoom is important, even though we may not get a huge number of people attending via Zoom. I know that often we will have some consultants such as Mr. Cossey over there who chooses to attend via Zoom, and from time to time we do have counselors for whatever reason not able to attend in person, such as tonight, Councillor Buckley. And we do think that that $500 annual fee is pretty nominal for the benefit that that we do get from it. Having said that, I am in favor of option number 4 to move back to the village office council chambers. I believe that moving down here to Memorial Hall was never meant to be a permanent thing. It was done so that we still could conduct council meetings and have public attendance because of the ability for the physical distancing. And also the concern I had that was expressed by a Festival of the Arts, that it's not only the summer months, that they require use of the Memorial Hall, that the ongoing concerts during the year brings huge benefits to this community. So my vote is for option number 4. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Buckley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Counselor Vidal mentioned pretty much everything I was going to say. And with lost revenue and everything else, to me, number 4 as well makes perfect sense to me, and I would be in favor as well.
Thank you, Counselor Buckley. I have to comment on it myself. I feel like I am in the Supreme Court. I look forward to moving into a smaller community or smaller location where we can feel more like a smaller village office. So I definitely support option 4. I would just like to just add it, if I could just make a friendly amendment to that one too, is that we also send the option 4, but a letter also to the Harrison Festival Society, letting know that Memorial Hall is back open for business for them.
Yes, Your Worship. Yes, that would definitely be something that staff would do in any event.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the question. All in favor of item 4? Passes. Number 4 passes unanimously. Next order of business, please.
Yes, thank you. We'll move on to number 13. This is under bylaws, and this is a report from the planning consultant regarding the official community plan review process and adoption.
Yes, Your Worship. I would move that we postpone any discussion on the OCP until at least February the 16th. Give myself and Councillor Buckley, who are new to council, the opportunity to study it more. I have maybe recommendations, invite Mr. Cossey to come to a further meeting before our last meeting in February. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Worship, if I may, I would think it would be prudent at this time to allow Mr. Cossey to present his report. There is a recommendation for council there. And then certainly Councillor Jackson has opportunity to make any amendments at that time.
Are you okay with that, Councillor Jackson?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So so you're tabling it until February the 16th.
Yes,
And
Your
it was seconded by Councillor Facio. And discussion, Councillor Vidal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm in favor of deferring it to a later date. I just wanted to ask for a clarification from Councillor Jackson. So through you to Councillor Jackson, is your intent then to have council meet again in the future with Mr. Cossey to go over the draft OCP once again, and then be able to ask your questions and ask for your clarification at that time? Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. There are lots of items in the OCP that I don't agree with, I don't understand, and I need clarification. There's no rush. The OCP will be with us for another 7 or 8 years, so we have to make sure that we do it right. Maybe right's the wrong word. However, I need more time, and right now, I'd like to have this postponed. We'll meet with Mr. Cossey at a date that is chosen by the staff to get all the clarification that I think that we need.
Thank you. I think that's a reasonable request. Even our mayor would, I don't believe, had as much involvement during the creation of the draft OCP as, and neither did Councillor Jackson or Councillor Buckley, and agree with Councillor Jackson that there's no rush to have the OCP approved. So I do support that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Councillor Buckley?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too support Councillor Jackson. We just haven't had enough time, being the new councillors, to have a really good look at this, and I would like to get it right. The only thing I would maybe like to change is the date of the end of February. I know we're all attending for just about a half a week in there at the sort of after the first week of February, we're away. But I would like to set up a meeting with have staff set up a meeting with Mr. Cossey that we could have sort of an all day, if it takes all day, I'm sure it will, to go through this from top to bottom. In the meantime, I have been reading this, but I, like Councillor Jackson, have several issues, and I think it would be prudent for all of us to sit in on that and just go through it that haven't been there, because this is very important to me, and I'm sure to all of us. So I do agree with Councillor Jackson. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Buckley. I too have gone through the OCP. I'm not sure which version is the last version anymore. There are a lot of things which are very difficult to tell what has been changed. I also have an awful lot of questions, and I do not support the motion to adopt the OCP. So to table it, I would like to see the OCP put to bed. I don't see why we need to have any further discussion on it. I believe that the OCP, the concerns of it, I think that it was rushed through with COVID, procedural fairness. Again, none of us having the involvement in the process. So just to table it and discuss it later, I think we're just delaying the inevitable. There is an awful lot of development in this, and it has to do with the wording. I am very concerned with the wording on this. That has everything to do with the north, the east sector lands to the north. And also that there's even comments here about up here on Agassiz Mountain here, which some people call Mount Woodside, that shows that the potential for private recreation, which could be someone's cottage, homes, or mansions. I mean, we've just got so many things that are wrong with this: duplexes, coach houses approved in R1 zones. We haven't even, there's no mention, discussion on the overflow parking areas. At the community center has nothing in it with regards to what's our waterfront going to look like when we increase our dike up to the 2 meters. We got a $6 million grant in there to do that. That's going to drastically change the way of our waterfront. Bike pathways, no mention, nothing, very little on the bike pathways. Who are we? What do we want to be? Health and safety, sustainability, financial plan. I have questions, the lagoon water quality. What are we going to do with the lagoon? What's that going to look like? How about planning for the youth, activities, families? What's the business growth? What do they want to see in the OCP? What about protecting our drinking water, the source, our lake? What happens when we get to our full population of 4,000? We're halfway there. We got to get it right. Home-based businesses, a trail to Agassiz, the waterfront boardwalk through to the Kent, which Kent has in their OCP. the school district review, if they're going to expand, build new, make smaller, what are they going to do with that lands there? Once adopted, the process of public involvement is not required if it's in the OCP. Amenity bonus. I can't understand the amenity bonus of it. I have concerns of the infrastructure, the engineering reports on our infrastructure due to the increased density of our water, sewers, and roads. It makes mentions to our wastewater engineering report of 2016, which is already 7 years old, and it doesn't even include any of the equipment the main equipment that's in the infrastructure. It's missing the whole wastewater treatment plant, the water plant, any of the pump stations. Those are the multi-million dollar projects. When is our sewage plant going to be up at capacity? If we have to relocate that or redirect it to Kent, I mean, we could be talking tens of thousands or tens of millions of dollars. So this OCP is just missing a great deal. And I really believe that this motion, to adopt this OCP tonight should be rejected. And
Worship.
yes,
Excuse me, Mr. We've already done that if we vote.
Councillor
What-
Jackson.
Yeah, one thing for clarification, Your Honor. What you're talking about is the strategic plan for the village, not an OCP. OCP is a template for what the village wants to do now and in the future. It's not zoning, it's not strategic planning, it's not. If you had an OCP with what you're talking about, it's going to be like a federal omnibus bill. It'll be 2,000 or 3,000 pages that nobody will read. You cannot cover everything in an OCP. It is a guideline for the future. Each individual council after this one, they may look at something different than what you're proposing. We have a motion on the floor to postpone this OCP so we can go back and discuss it and rework out what problems we think there is. We can't cover all of it. We can't cover the whole world. I'm sorry, this is a small community of 1,500 people. So I think we should get on with this, approve this motion, and let us get on with the work that we've been hired to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Councillor Facio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Just Councillor
I'm
Facio.
sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think what Mr. Councillor Jackson says is absolutely right. It's, the OCP is a living document. It's not a, we have our zoning, we have our infrastructure, we have our active transportation plans. They're all separate documents. We're even putting this, what I think is a good idea, the design guidelines as a separate document as well. I think Mr. Cossey came this evening to answer questions if this was going to move forward. I don't think he's here this evening to take any criticism. He's been asked to meet with council those councillors, there's 2 of them, and yourself, who were not present for the previous council. He did an outstanding job of, considering we had the pandemic in between all this, to get this going again. And according to his report, quite a number of Harrison residents were involved in this. So I want to thank Mr. Cossey for the work he's done so far on this report. His latest OCP has deleted a lot of wording in regards to the east sector being developed, which I didn't want, and also the wording on a case-by-case basis where it came to coach houses. That's all been removed. So I think we should move ahead with the ask the question on Councillor Jackson's motion.
Thank you, Councillor Facio. Councillor Buckley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What I can see here is that we have the opportunity to go back and basically rewrite portions or do whatever we have. And I even with the 1-day meeting that we had discussed earlier, if that takes longer, that would be fine. And I think it would be the same idea pretty well going forward. If we were to rewrite the whole thing, go back and take what we can from this document and decide amongst us what we really think needs to be in there. And I think if we had a session, it may take a few days, whatever it's going to take. That would be my preference, because I definitely agree that there's a lot of things we could put in there. And I do want to change some of the things in there, but I think by getting together, we can accomplish this without just chucking it right out, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. I would note, though, that we are actually in a spot that third reading has been complete. So we're at final fourth reading. So we can't get any more public input. The changes that we can make are very limited of what we can make. We have been left at the fourth reading, which is final for adoption. The time we spend going through and looking at all of these different issues, what changes can we make to the OCP? We're at fourth reading. Fourth reading is final discussion. My concerns that I've heard from Councillor Facio and from Councillor Jackson, that my list is whatever they want to call it. I would suggest they read the District of Kent and the District of Hope's OCP, as all these items are very clearly specified in their OCPs. I would also like to state there is also one other important part, and it's climate change. We make very little reference to climate change. Climate change is one of the most important parts of our environment. One of my biggest parts is health and safety and protection of this village, the environment. What's this village going to look like? What are we going to be doing with the R1 zones? Are we going to allow R2 uses? This is where it's heading. Everybody is heading for density. I don't support that density in the residential areas. I believe in smart development. Smart development can also happen in the commercial area. But in our residential area, a lot of people, including myself, moved here because we do not want to see a big duplex next door, garden, garage, whatever next door with extra vehicles on our property. We're halfway there to our maximum of 4,000 people. It's important that we recognize where this village is going to be in the future. This is the most important decision that this council and mayor will ever make. The future of where we go hinges on this OCP. The OCP should be scrapped. And further discussion, Councillor Facio?
That's what we've been waiting for.
Okay, I call the question.
Could I have a motion, please, Mr. Mayor?
It's to postpone to February the 16th. Is that the correct?
That's right.
February the 16th.
Is February 16th the date that is set for?
February the 16th or to February the 16th or to whatever time it takes for this council to have a good hard look at it. Just let you know, Mr. Mayor, I have never been in favor of duplexes and single family. What you're doing is you're putting
Thank you.
your
Thank you.
thoughts
Thank
into
you.
my nose, and I don't want you to do that.
Thank you, Councillor
Speak for
Jackson.
yourself, but don't speak for me.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson.
May I have the motion reread again then, please, Mr. Mayor?
To postpone until February the 16th.
Postpone adoption of the OCP until February 16th, which will, or are we voting on the motion to have Mr. Cossey attend with council to explain the OCP, why things are put in, why things are left out, and explanation and possible considerations that council member has? I would like that clarification before I vote on the motion. Thank you.
I called the question. There was no further discussion. The motion on the table, which was from Counselor Jackson, is to postpone the meeting, postpone the adoption to February the 16th. So I call the question, all in favor? Motion passes with the mayor opposed. Next order of business, please.
Yes, the next report is also from the planning consultant. This is regarding a revised application for a 511 Lillooet.
Go ahead, planner.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is dealing with 511 Lillooet Avenue. Council reviewed zoning amendment bylaw 1168/2021 on August 8th, 2022. During this meeting, council did not give this bylaw a third reading. As a result of this, the project could not proceed. Based upon the village's development procedures bylaw, specifically section 16.2 of this bylaw, the developer opted to substantially revise the application and resubmit their application. The background information associated with this project is based upon the village's official community plan. The site is within the Lakeshore Beach area designation, the waterfront commercial area, and within the Lakeshore development or the Lakeshore special planning area. As per the village's zoning bylaw, the site is zoned as Village Commercial C1 and is bounded by Lillooet Avenue to the south, Spruce Street to the west, and Rendell Park to the north. The original application for this project was received in 2021. Public and external agencies put input into through the following methods. The developer hosted an open house, referred the proposed bylaw to the APC, the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, the village's fire department, and the Fraser Valley Regional District, and the setting up of a public hearing on October 2021. Based upon the report of February 16th, 2022, council passed the following motions that they needed additional information, and those items have been listed out below. And on June 8th, the village received the requested information. During the council meeting of August 8, 2022, the amendment bylaw did not receive third reading. The developer's agent was advised of the refusal, and staff indicated that they had three options to follow as outlined below. They could wait a year and reapply with no changes to the application, substantially revise and resubmit, or follow the current zoning bylaw requirements. The developer opted for substantially revising the application and resubmitting. Listed below in the table on pages 92 and 93 is the issue of consideration what the past application had, if a development variance permit was required, and what the revised application is all about today, and if a development variance permit is still required. You can notice that the floor area ratio with density bonusing in the past was 2.31, and it's been dropped down to 1.78. And yes, you'll still need to do a development variance permit because it has to be at 1.75. The lot coverage has to be 75% as per the zoning bylaw. The past application was 83.9%, and the revised application is at 76.9%. So a development variance permit is still required. The building height, 15 meters in the zoning bylaw. However, that can go up to 18 meters if they have to have in ladders, steeples, elevator tunnels, that sort of stuff. And in this case, the building height will be 22.8 meters. And yes, they will still need to require a development variance permit application. You can notice that the commercial space has gone down. The top of page 93, the number of dwellings, you'll also notice, has gone down from 108 to 80. Bike stalls have gone down from 50 to 26. Electric vehicle chargers, there was an offer of 126 in the past application, and it's unknown if there's going to be any offers at this particular point in time, because I could find nothing that made reference to it in the application. The parking stalls required was 169 under the old one, and we needed to provide a variance because there'll be off-site parking, an off-site parking agreement. With the revised application, it'll be 132 and will all be on site, so no variance is requested. The accessibility parking stalls, there was a request to change it from 5 to 10 under the old application. Under the new application, there will be no request to change the accessibility parking stall requirement. The community amenity contributions was negotiated at $30,000. They've come back with a $20,000 offer, and you have to remember it's being reduced as they're including public realm and streetscape improvements as part of the community amenity contributions. And generally, these are considered as part of the development costs when the actual application comes through. As I mentioned earlier, the offsite parking, a proposed agreement was required, and in this case, it's not applicable. The disability affordable housing offer is 10% as per the building code requirements, and now the offer is coming in as adaptable only at 10%. The trees retain 6 out of the 33. The revised application is retained 19 out of 33. The view corridor offset above the ground floor at 2 meters on the first and third, and 3 meters from the second to the 6th floor, and offsetting above the ground floor 4.3 meters from the 1st floor to the 5th floor. The rooftop amenity available to the users only of the building, and in this case, it'll be open to the residents and the users. The washroom upgrade at Rendell Park was offered previously as a 1-year warranty, and now they're offering a 2-year warranty. The landscape maintenance as well was a 1-year warranty, and now they're considering offering a 2-year warranty. A public plaza area was not proposed in the last application, and now they're proposing to build one at the corner of Lillooet Avenue and Spruce Street. If council determines that the above changes can be considered as substantial, then the applicant is required to follow the process as outlined in our development procedures bylaw. One of these issues is the requirement that the applicant host a public notification meeting as outlined in sections 11 to 11.6. The staff recommendations, your worship, is that the applicant be required to set up a public notification meeting and that the 30-meter notification radius be increased to 100 meters.
Move the recommendation,
you.
Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor Vidal. Discussion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coun-
Thank you,
Council-
Mr. Yeah, I'm pleased to see the tremendous changes that the developers have made on this, as previously asked by the previous council, especially the floor ratios, the trees, which sustain the disabled units. The density has been reduced tremendously. The parking has been addressed. And of course, the parking stalls for the disabled were increased from 4 to 10 as well. So they met, I think, all the areas that the previous council had identified. And I want to thank the proponents, consultants here for the way it's been written out and explaining how it's been changed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I think Councillor Buckley was.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too, as we were not involved in this process in our last term, I did notice that they have changed quite a bit of things. I know parking and leaving of the trees along Rendell Park was a big one. It's unfortunate that some of those trees can't be saved, but unfortunately they're in there where the building is going to go. And I know when you dig and roots can be damaged, that it's not a good thing to leave them in there for safety of the people involved. But I too would be in favor of putting it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Vidal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Having sat on council when previous proposals came forth, I do believe that these are substantial revisions. I want to thank the proponent for working closely with Mr. Cossey and our staff. Echo Councillor Facio's comments as he was also a sitting councillor during various presentations to council. I do think that the way I look at it is that utmost important to me was the floor area ratio, the density, and also to save the large trees that border the property line on Mendel Park. To me, my concerns have been met, and I will vote in favor of Mr. Cassie's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Worship. On my second term on council, I noticed that the property line on the property was not right. It was encroaching on the village, Rendell Park. Council dealt with that. We had it moved back to where it is now. I think there's a great lesson that we've learned on this development. When it first came into the village, the first proposal was to encroach on one of our precious parks, Rendell Park. It was to take down trees in the park. Could you imagine if someone proposed that to go into Stanley Park? It'd be an uproar. Council did the right thing. They, over time, pushed it back to what it is today. But I think from my point of view, I would like to see any future developments that come into the village have a retention or replacement for any trees that are coming down, so council can deal with that matter at the very beginning and not later on. I know we get proposals to come in that's the last thing. I want that to be the first thing, so we don't run into this problem. I support the proposal as it is now, and I commend our staff for bringing it to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further? Yes, to the planner.
Yes, your worship. Under the new legislation through the Local Government Act, if you designate an area like the village of Harrison Hot Springs through your official community plan as a development approval information area, basically that just means impacts. You can get all that sort of information at the front end of your application instead of going through the process and saying we need information X, Y, and Z, because all of that information will be at the front end, including the tree retention plan, what the impacts will be to the environment, to the infrastructure, to the social services. And included in that report would be a mitigation strategy, and the developer would have to pay for the costs of that mitigation.
I would look forward to seeing that. Further discussion? Any further discussion? Is the developer here?
Here you.
Yes. Could I just make a few comments? I think it would be helpful of the trees that you are talking about removing, that they would be just marked in some way so that residents can physically see which trees it is that we're actually talking about. So I guess it would be the like a red mark for the ones that you would be removing. These are just suggestions, and I support this project absolutely. But I just want to raise just a few questions on it. The public amenity portion that was on the it would be on the southwest corner. Does that area become property and maintained by the village, or is that property maintained and operated by the strata? Do we have any? Can I ask that, Kemp? That's one of my questions. And the other, actually, I have a few, and I'm just going to spit them out for you. Environmental wise, is it going to be a green roof? You're going to find me to be asking questions for smart development. I think smart development is really important to protect our environment, our carbon footprint. I'd love to see the carbon footprint. Are we putting in gas boilers there? Or are we going to be putting in some sort of geothermal electric heat pump system? Is it LEED certified? And if so, to what level? You make an offering here of the first item that I was talking about, this amenity bonus area. But you take off about $10,000. Just again, a comment, instead of having an amenity bonus area or even some of the artwork, I would like to see the amenity that would go to the stormwater outfall. Is obviously this piece of property is going to be 100% basically stormwater is going to be going through a pipe system, and it's going to be going to our to the Miami River. Presently, the system that's there just falls right into the river. There is no the outfall. So what would be nice to see is actually a stormwater outfall, which is to remove the pollutants and sediments. And I mean, I could see that as a good start. And we know the village has quite a number of these outfalls. And none of these actually, sorry, I believe one of them does have some protection on it. But I think that would be a nice amenity thing to see is showing the protection of our Miami River on that. And I mean, there could even be a little plaque there donated from yourselves. I also just wanted to bring to your attention, and I raised the comment a little earlier in the meeting here when I mentioned about the OCP. There is a $6 million grant application in for the raising of our dike in some areas of up to 2 meters. That area, I have no idea how much it may have to be raised. It may be nothing, but it may be 2 meters. What's that going to look like? Are you prepared if that comes after the fact? I think that's important that that's part of the how it looks and your facility itself. That's all I have. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Sorry, I was going to say something.
I'm
Mr. Mayor.
sorry.
Sorry,
I'm sorry, Councillor Fassi.
appreciate your comments. I think all the off-site works will be dealt with by the developer and the staff when it comes to that. And maybe Mr. Cossie has some comments on that.
Yes, your worship, we deal generally with all of the offsite through the process that we're just talking about. And part of that process is if we also, you were talking about some of the impacts, and we could do that if we had it designated in our OCP, a development approval information area, which is a great tool.
Absolutely. Love it.
So, but yes, we do deal with all of those things, and it will be dealt with as we go through this entire process. Because the way it has to work is we have to have the entire package in front of you so that the council as a whole has the confidence level with it, and then they can either move it forward or move it to the side or reject it. You will have those options through this entire process. Anytime through this process, whenever there's a report in front of you, you can accept, reject, or modify it as the council sees fit.
Thank you. Smart development, looking after our environment, carbon footprint, great stuff. Sounds good. Thank you, Ken. Again, sorry, Councillor Fassi, did you have?
Just maybe Mr.
Operation.
Mr. Cook can answer the question on that. What was the second point? Oh, I believe when the application was made for the grant for the lake wall there, I believe that it was for a meter. I know for years the environment have told us we're 1 meter lower than we should be for flood protection. So I believe it, but maybe Mr. Cook can confirm that.
That is correct, sir. It's it does vary, but on average, it is about 1 meter. I'm not too sure about the east end of the dike there because ultimate design hasn't been completed yet.
Thank you. Thank you. No further questions. I'm ready to call the question. Call the question. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Call for adjournment. Sorry, I missed that one. Next order of business, please.
Certainly, we'll move on to number 14. Is there any new business?
Councillor Facio,
If I may, Mr. Mayor.
go ahead.
Thank you. Now I'm asking our staff, this is a review, I'm not asking for any decisions this evening, just I'm asking our staff if they would make a review of the council remuneration and expense policy number 1.16 regarding remuneration, mileage. I noticed as a regional district, it's now 61 cents a kilometre, which makes sense. Meal allowance, use of mobile phone for use of our mobile phones. We purchase our own phones, but I think that the cost of the monthly should be a percentage or paid for. Section 9, conferences. I think that councillors, the mayor's already goes to this automatically. I think councillors should have the option of either going to UBCM or FCM if they wish. And also that councillors who don't have one and would wish to have one are supplied with a loan laptop. At the regional district, they base their on the Canadian national wage structure in reference to we just gone through this there of nearly $70,000. They take a percentage of that. So I'm requesting that the mayor and council have a mayor percentage of where is it? 31% and the councillors 37.25%. This is just for a review and to come back obviously as a report from staff. So that's my motion.
Seconded by Councillor Jack.
Excuse me, your worship, through to Councillor Facio. This may be a good opportunity to bring your policy to the next committee of the whole for discussion at that time.
Sure, by all means, certainly.
Certainly,
There's a very good booklet that UBCM put out in 2019, where the importance of remuneration. Municipal politics is different from the rest in that council members are always on the clock. Businesses close at the end of the day, people go home from work, and provincial and federal politicians have staff and deputies to assist with a very demanding schedule. City council members are on their own and take ownership of all issues and concerns from the community. They're never off the clock. And this was everybody wants to read it, very good article from UBCM. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you moved. So it's moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor Jackson. So to move it to the next committee of the whole meeting for discussion. Discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Passes with the mayor opposed. Next order of business, please.
One last one, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
This is
Councillor Facio.
involving the I think it's the 22nd of April is Earth Day. And I'm not asking for staff time on this. Something that I want to if I may research that we involved as we did on 2 or 3 years. Mr. Jackson will recall where certain children from the schools were involved in the cleanup of the village on Earth Day, and we had a bit of a barbecue for them afterwards to thank them, but it was very successful and it involved the students from both elementary and the high school. So I'd just like to, I'm not asking for any staff time at the moment on this. I just want to research it and see what the figures are out there for volunteers and for donations for putting a barbecue together for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Facio. Any further?
Nope. That's it.
Next order of business, please.
Yes, Your Worship, we have number 15, questions from the public, and this is pertaining to agenda items only. If we could let the folks attending via Zoom, if they have any questions.
Is there anybody on Zoom?
Please use the raise your hand feature, and then we can call on you.
Just
1 moment, Mr. Allen, please.
Your worship, doesn't look like there's any questions on Zoom.
thank you. There's no power? I can hear you because I can hear you though.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. John Allen, 398 Hot Springs Road. Delighted to hear that more trees are being saved in Rendell Park. But I'm quite confused about the absence of the urban forest program. We have paid Mr. Blackburn $75,000 for a report, which was delivered to the village a month ago. His deadline, I think, was the 16th of December. That report really should be on the front of your agenda today, should have been received by council and should become public, because that report is the report which will set out how we deal with all the trees in the village of Harrison Hot Springs. And to my horror, when I spoke with Mr. Blackburn, nobody had told him there was an OCP review underway, and it's not even mentioned in the OCP. So my question is, why is the Blackburn report not received by council for discussion, made public, and provided as input to the OCP? Because if we're paying $75,000 for a tree report, I would hope that it would be an important part of the OCP, because that is where you set out your ambition for things like trees and greenery and the environment. So why is the tree report not made public? We paid for it, $75,000. It's going to be an important part of the OCP, and it might provide some guidance for council when it comes to dealing with this revised and improved proposal for the bungalow motel site. That's my question.
Thank you. Just hold on. To the corporate officer, could you answer the or provide an update on the forest master plan, please?
Yes, certainly, Your Worship. As I mentioned last meeting, I believe the first draft of the plan was received just before the Christmas break, and it is now being reviewed by staff. And this is the first draft, and it will come before council.
Do we have an approximate time when it's coming back to council?
No, I don't, Your Worship.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor, if I could have a supplementary question, is there any reason why that report wouldn't be released to the public? We have paid for it. It's our report, and it's something that we should be talking about in the context of this development. We've already seen all the trees disappear from the Sasquatch Museum site, the old historic building. All the trees have disappeared from the spring site. So we're concerned about trees. Why is this report not being made public today or tonight? And why don't you, the council, or you, the mayor, just say, it's our report, we paid for it, let it be open to the public and release it? Or do I have to file an FOI for it? I think you should just release it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Good evening. Good evening. I have a concern in regards to the Let's Not Aquatic Center. I'm a resident here and I currently travel to head to swimming. I cannot swim lengths in this hot tub. And with all the COVID restrictions and all the nonsense trying to get lifeguards, I've given up trying to visit this facility here. I'm not in favor of funding pool in Agassiz, because I don't live in Agassiz. However, it's close enough that I can drive there. It's less of a drive to go to Hart. what I would like to see in the resort. So that Harrison resident that actually live in Harrison can use the swimming pools at the resort. Why can't we use those pools? Why do we have to be staying at the hotel to use those pools? It's ridiculous. And they provide swimming pools there, at least one, can be used for swimming lanes. The rest are essentially hot tubs or hot springs. They're being ripped off in Harrison. I don't shut up. There is no reason why we can't have this public pool redeveloped so that there's a hot springs area for public to use and possibly lengthen so you can actually swim lanes in the regular pool. But before I put my tax dollars this aquatic center in Embassy, I want to see this little village get us off together and figure out why the problem on public classroom here. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I answer those? Can I answer that question? Can I answer that question? Would you like to come back up and then I can just. So I can give you a little bit of insight. I have actually worked for the main hotel during the COVID time, so I did help them out. And I was actually the manager in charge of the pools. So I can tell you a little bit about the pools. So it's a business, the public pools, that water is actually owned by the pools are owned by a private business. The public pool that's on Hot Springs Road is also owned by the hotel, and the water from there is actually over of what they're actually required to do by their water license. The water license, which was granted many, many years ago and gets renewed on a certain regular basis, which is between the province and the hotel itself. And that actually allows for, I believe it was 7 gallons per minute of hot water, which is to be used for public use. So just to put that in perspective, that would be about what you would have coming out of your garden hose. So to have a garden hose with hot water coming out of it, we would have a community hot tub. And that's all we got. That's unfortunately, I support you. I would love to have our own public pool here. But I think, again, the hotel is a business. So I get it. The public pool is at the end of its life. They know it. They know it. Again, it's a business. So I think right now, and I think with part of even with the OCP, that it can be part of a project, a community project that we can look at and see how we can come and make I want to see what we can do with the lands all the way from the fire hall, all the way north, all the way to that overflow parking area. Community use, what do we see in that community use? Yeah, maybe we do make some sort of an agreement with the resort and bring that water over. And there's, I mean, the options are endless. I'm just saying we could start the conversation, but it's a long conversation, a very, very long conversation, because I can tell you that the amount of water that pool, the public pool uses now, it has an actual 3-inch water line that's almost continuously being filled with the hot water. And again, all they're required by law is a garden hose. So the Village Hotel has actually been very, very generous for what they're supplying. So they could actually shut that pool down and give you just a hose bib that you can go fill your water bottle up outside their building there, and they meet their requirements. So, you know, the hotel deserves some respect for what they have done to the community. So I do believe, I know they get a negative, sometimes they get a negative spin on it, but I think sometimes when you find out what the rules and what's really in place, that's really not the case. They've actually been quite accommodating, and hopefully that can continue, and we can maybe make a new pool and work together on a project and rebuild our own community. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I will continue to drive to hope to this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am going to make a statement because I am very angry. First of all, Mr. Mayor, I respect you. I think you have, and I know you have the authority to fire the CO because it's evident that whoever the CO is has no honesty, integrity to do your job and does not
Mr. Mayor,
respect you
just leave. Yeah,
because they lied
just-
to you
I have to
and they
cut you.
lied to us.
I have to cut you off when we're starting to talk about the personnel issues. I would ask you to just to be patient and understanding that, again, we can't sit here and respect has to be a two-way relationship. So carry on though, please.
Do I not
I,
have the right to express how I feel? Because
As
I
long as
think
it-
a lot of the residents are feeling it, so I thought I'm going to put it out there because I'm very angry about it.
Mr. Mayor, point of order, please.
Go ahead. Continue on.
Sorry, I
Con-
I
con-
don't have my
continue
hearing
on.
aids out loud enough.
Continue on. As long as you're respectful, I will let you continue.
This agenda item is for agenda items only. Thank you.
Continue, please. Go ahead.
That's just what I wanted to mention because I feel that your office is not being respected. And I think you need to be respected and they need to know that you are our mayor. We elected you and we expect them to honor and respect your position. That's it.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor, John Allen. I guess my question is, who told you that we were committed to the final adoption of the OCP? The reality is that council can in fact rescind third reading, second reading, and even first reading and go back and restart the process. So I would urge you to get alternative advice on that point. We're not committed to adopting this draft OCP. We can go back to the third or the second or the first reading, and we should certainly go back far enough to trigger a new public hearing so that you can hear what the public has to say about the proposed bylaw. And that public hearing, Mr. Mayor, needs to have no limits on the talking time because we're talking about an 84-page bylaw. And to give people 5 minutes to discuss it and go through it is simply not enough time. So I would urge you to get alternative advice and to rescind third and second and possibly first reading in this bylaw, restart the process afresh and give the public a real opportunity to have input into our OCP. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Last call, any further questions? No.
Thank you. In regards to the use of the overflow parking, I would like to, since you brought it up, your mayor, your worship, consider having a skateboard park for the youth
Thank you.
in competition for decorating it with graffiti or however we want to do it. And also, I'd like to suggest having Harrison 5K and 20K run-ins. I'm getting into running and I'd like that to be an annual event. And also a cycle to Harrison Legacy. Bring in fundraising. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Yes. Yes, motion to adjourn, move second. Call the question, all in favor? Passes unanimously. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for attending.